Hello and welcome to another instalment of Donal and William's movie review. Today we went to see a movie called Hey Baby, and I'll hand you over to William, who will tell you what the movie was about.
Thanks, Donal. Hi, guys. Yes, we went to see Hey Baby, which is essentially a Bollywood movie set and very much filmed in and around Sydney. It's about three men who live together, best mates. They've lived together for some time, real best buddies, soulmates. And they've been living quite a hedonistic lifestyle. Lots of women, lots of sex, lots of fun. A bit like our lives, I wish. And, well,
Yeah, right.
2 out of 3 ain't bad. No. Anyway, one day a baby is placed just outside their door with a little note on it saying
Does that ring any bells, any movie bells?
Indeed. What movie does that remind you of? Anyway, the note says, take something like, take care of your child, it's your child. And so the three men start to wonder, which of us is the father? Because there's 3 of them. Of course, it's a total rip-off of which movie?
3 men and a baby.
And why is that?
Because there's 3 men and a baby.
He's clever. He's not just a pretty face.
Yeah. But anyway, William, what did you think did you like this movie for a start?
It was the first movie I've seen in probably about 2 or 3 years where I have almost walked out. I literally, within the first 5 minutes, I thought, this is a load of old bollocks, this is dire. And I think it's rather sad, because I think later on, the good bits of the movie, and that is being kind, the good bits of the movie are later on. There's 1 or 2 good songs, and some of the scenery is brilliant. But the movie lets itself down, and I know we've talked about this and you disagree slightly, but I know the terms Bollywood and realism don't go together, they're contradictions, but sometimes you have to have a basis of realism, I think, for something that's not real at all. And there are basic things like, you'd think if a baby was placed outside somebody's door, they'd take it to a hospital, a doctor's, or to the police or somebody. And at other times, although this was set in Sydney and a lot of it was filmed in Sydney, a lot of it was definitely filmed probably in Bollywood in India, and things like the police uniforms, etc., were not authentic New South Wales police uniforms. I mean, they looked very fake. So for me, not only was this very unrealistic, which I know is very Bollywood, but it was a very lazy movie. No effort was made for authenticity or any form of realism. The jokes in it were terrible. The slapstick humour was desperate and absolutely unfunny, about as funny as being born dead, I'm afraid. What did you like about, what did you hate about the movie?
No, actually? Just to go back on something you said earlier about the unrealistic aspects of the movie, I think that this movie is completely for an Indian audience. It wasn't ever made for, even though we're in Sydney and we saw it in a Sydney theatre, we were one of 3 people watching the movie in I don't know, like a 200, 300 seater cinema. So this film, I don't think, was made for a Western audience. So the aspects of like the New South Wales uniform, I don't think that that really matters. Like how authentic that uniform is when it's not meant for a Western audience, because who in India is going to really know the difference?
This is exactly what I would just kind of agree with. I don't think it should have been shown in Australia at all. Now, I work for an extra agency, and I almost got a job on this movie, and I'm so glad I took the KFC commercial, because I would have been embarrassed to have been in this. It really was absolutely dire.
There were some parts of the movie now that were completely off the chart. They were just off the wall. There was no like meaning behind it at all. There was like there was grown adults dressed up in teddy bears running around Sydney. It was just like, you know, it was completely out there. I think you would have to be like honestly smoking something to
And believe me, I was not smoking anything this time. I mean, I was just bored out of my wits.
It was very choppy.
Very choppy. And apart from what I think was, I know we talked about the realism, but I think it was more laziness than anything.
But I'm not a fan of Bollywood movies, but I think maybe I've seen 2 or 3 of them, and in general, like, I mean, is there any realism with
No, there's no
Bollywood?
realism, but I thought the thing with this was just laziness. And I didn't like it. There was a couple of times, there was an incident when one of the characters is at a party. Now I clearly saw that 2 of the kids who were doing karate chops on him were dwarfs, were small people, were adults doing it. They didn't even try and make any effort. I saw that immediately, and I thought they're not even making an effort to hide the stuntman here. And I just think it was just a very lazy movie. Now I understand in India it's done quite well, but I think it's a great kids movie if you ignore the condom comments in it. But I just found it a very lazy movie with a lack of effort.
So you think it's a kids movie rather than adult themed?
I think it's more of a kid movie. I don't think it's adult themed at all. But above all, I just think it's a lazy movie. It's not original at all. It's clearly used a lot from Three Men and a Baby. I don't think they made any effort with any form of realism at all.
I found as well, it's not just based on Three Men and a Baby, it was more or less than, because there was a sequel, Three Men and a Little Lady as well, and it felt like that they had just put the two films together, because there were aspects of Three Men and a Little Lady, I think, in the same film, as where like the mother of the baby went off and was getting married to somebody else and different things. It was all over the place, to be honest, I thought.
And totally agree. And another thing I've just remembered is that, as I said, I don't think this should have really been shown in Western cinemas. Well, not for Western.
I don't think it was meant to. I think the only point it was shown in Sydney was because it was set in Sydney.
And also the other cultural thing was there was an intermission. Now, in most Western movies, except the odd thing like Dancing with Wolves, which I think they did with some cinemas, there was an intermission. Now, to me, I have no idea. What do I do with an intermission? Yes, I'm used to an interval in the theatre, but an intermission in a cinema, I wasn't sure how long the intermission was. In fact, we ended up missing the beginning of the second half.
And I've been to movies where there was an intermission, but usually they're like 3 hour plus movies. This was just a normal movie, and the intermission came after like 45 minutes, which was...
It was literally 45 minutes, and the second half wasn't particularly that long either. So, us two
it
and
was
the
a
other...
bit strange, because there was only one other person in the cinema.
And we were all a bit confused.
Do.
Nobody seemed to know how long it went on for. We asked the lady at the ticket desk if we could go out and get stuff. She didn't seem to quite know what was going on. Nobody really had a clue. And I hate to say it, I don't think the movie really had a clue. I don't think the director really had a clue. I don't think the scriptwriter really had a clue. And above all, us viewers didn't have a clue.
I don't know, maybe that movie would work well in London where they have a big Indian population, or I don't know, but like in Sydney, I don't think there's an audience for it.
Well, as I say,
there wasn't an audience there today anyway when we went to see
Well, as I say, in India, the critics seem to have quite liked it, and it seems to have got a lot of people going to the cinema. But
you quite liked the music though, didn't you?
Oh, there was one song. What I hated was the synthesized music, but there was one song in it, I don't know the name, brilliant. I've downloaded it to my iTunes. What would you rate it?
Mary Dally 2, I think it's called. Something
He's good
like
with
that.
languages.
Something like that.
You should hear his Japanese.
But I didn't like the music at all. I didn't like it, but he did.
What would you rate it?
That Bollywood
what would
thing.
you rate it?
I would give it 0.5 out of 5.
I would give it 1 out of 5, and that's only because of some of the great scenery of Sydney and that one song that I enjoyed. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, the reason why I'm good for like 0.5 is because I did get one real genuine laugh out of it, and it was a bit of a like, you know, probably slapstick, I don't know, where one of the guys got a dirty nappy thrown in his face, and that was just like, you know, I just laughed out loud for no real reason other than I just thought it was funny. And
I thought that was a shit joke, but anyway, join us next time for another movie review. Take care, guys.
Bye for now. And Bollywood.